The number one reason the governor's race is so important? Redistricting. Every 10 years, states are required to adjust their congressional districts based on changes in population. Ohio has lost population and in 2012 could lose 2 congressional seats. The governor and the legislature will get to create new boundaries, and if the Republicans control the state house, they will get to draw the new districts to their advantage. If the Democrats win, they would do the same.
Ted and Yvette need only one thing. Only one thing. They need you to do what you did for Barack and me 2 years ago.
The number 2 reason the governor's race is important, the 2012 presidential election. Ohio tipped in favor of George Bush in 2004. Obama won it in 2008. But if a Democrat is in the governor's mansion in 2012, well, that could go a long way toward helping the president win re-election. He could tap into the party organization and all the fundraising, and that's one reason why the president and vice president have been in Ohio 11 times campaigning for Ted Strickland. But if Republican John Kasich wins the governorship, expect his effective ground organization to help the Republican presidential candidate. So there you go, redistricting and the 2012 presidential race. 2 big factors that may be 2 years in the offing, but are big reasons why you need to vote in this year's Ohio governor's race. Bill Horman, 13 ABC, Action News.
Thanks, Bill. And that's a great reason why this race is so important, not only to Ohioans, but to the country at large. And that's why we've got you covered in Columbus. We are covering the Democratic side in Columbus as well as the Republicans. And we start with 13 ABC's Tony Geftis live in downtown Columbus to tell us what he's working on for tonight and what's going on down there on the Democratic side. Tony?
Diane, as you heard, political observers are saying this race is neck and neck. The top spot of governor could go to either side, and tonight we'll be following the results with the current governor, Ted Strickland. On the 3rd floor of the Hyatt is the Regency Ballroom, and if you step through these doors, this is where most of the major Democratic candidates are going to be tonight, including Governor Ted Strickland, up there at the podium. You can see the media is setting up right now. A security sweep is about to take place. Of course, the question that is on the ceiling in this ballroom, hanging over everyone's heads, is will this be a victory party? Will it be a retirement party for the governor? Of course, this is one of the most closely watched races across the entire nation, the litmus test for which direction we, the people, are going to vote, and we'll find out tonight as the governor takes the podium when the polls come in. Of course, it all comes down to you, the voters, and we will see who you decide to take from either hotel room and put right there inside the State House tonight. For now, live downtown in Columbus, Tony Geftis, 13 ABC, Action News. Diane?
All right, Tony, thanks very much. We are also covering the Republican side of things, and it's really going to be a close race tonight. If you believe the polls, the latest show that it's a statistical dead heat between Governor Strickland and his challenger, Kasich. 13 ABC's Christine Long down in Columbus as well, covering the Republican side of things for us tonight. Christine.
Diane, the stage is set. I'm in the ballroom of the Renaissance Hotel in downtown Columbus. Republicans here are confident that when all of these votes are tallied, this will turn into a victory celebration. Now take a look at this video. Republican gubernatorial candidate John Kasich will be here later this evening to watch the results roll in with his supporters. But the former congressman is first spending this election day greeting voters at polling locations across the state. 13 ABC caught up with Kasich this afternoon outside a polling location in Toledo.
We feel very, very good about things. We're going to win this election, and I want to say to the people that would watch the newscast, look, the most important thing for us to do is to get the economy going and create jobs. So our kids can graduate from college and stay here, and we need to rebuild this town. And I'll work with the mayor, I'll work with the business leaders, whatever we have to do to make sure that we can make Toledo great again.
Now, Kasich is a former congressman and Fox News commentator. He worked for the trading giant Lehman Brothers during the company's final years, and he ran the Columbus office for them. Now, while he was a congressman, he was named chairman of the House Budget Committee, and he presided over the first U.S. budget surplus since 1969. Now, in the last few weeks, Kasich's lead in the polls over Governor Ted Strickland has been shrinking. So this is a very close race. As Tony was saying, everyone across the country, close eye on this race, and we'll be standing by here at the Renaissance Hotel in the ballroom when all these election results roll in. For now, reporting live from Columbus, Christine Long, 13 ABC Action News. Diane, back to you.
All right, Christine, thanks very much. Now, the other big statewide race that has gotten a lot of attention is the race for the Senate seat being vacated by current Senator George Voinovich. Now, that, so far, it has been pretty much Rob Portman leading the way versus Democrat Lee Fisher. There have been significant leads in all the polls leading up to this, but of course, the final poll is the one that counts when the poll closed at 7:30 today. And the other big race is, of course, predominantly Toledo, the 9th Congressional District, which is, as we said, a large part of Lucas County, Ottawa, Erie, and some of Lorraine as well. That is longtime Toledo Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur running against a Republican challenger, Rich Ayat, in a race that has heated up the airwaves and the ad waves all throughout this campaign season. 13 ABC's Zach Ottenstein has more on that race.
Marcy Kaptur steered millions in earmarks.
From the initial advertisements to the lively debates, it's certainly been an interesting race. The incumbent is Democrat Marcy Kaptur, 28 years in Congress. She's the longest tenured woman in the House of Representatives. Her opponent, Republican Rich Ayat, local businessman, former CEO of Food Town.
We have too much invested with this to switch horses now and to put a freshman in who will have no political clout whatsoever.
That's why Kaptur supporters like Oliver Stribick took off work to call voters.
We need someone fighting for us.
I'm going door to door and talking to the voters face to face, and what people are telling me is they don't care what the situation is. They want Marcy Kaptur gone.
Kaptur, the longtime representative with an extensive voting record, is facing the anti-incumbent sentiment ripping through the United States. Ayat's hoping to capitalize.
Well, it's probably the first candidate in probably the last 20 years with Marcy that's really is doing some damage on her.
We don't know if Ayat can overcome Kaptur. We do know it will be one of the stiffest challenges Kaptur's ever faced.
Bailing out Wall Street. Now, either we bail people out or we don't.
And of course, we all remember how this race gained national attention after photos surfaced of candidate Rich Ayat wearing a Nazi army uniform. Ayat, however, defended that as merely a war reenactment, one of many that he participated in, Diane. Of course, tonight we'll find out whether voters felt in part that was a big deal or wasn't a big deal when we see the results of the polls.
Okay, and you're going to be covering things on the Democratic side from the UAW
That's
tonight
right.
during
We'll
our
have
coverage.
all the local candidates.
All night long. Zach, thanks very much. And that is going to do it for now here at the Reynolds Elementary School polling place, which, as we said, is one of the busiest polling locations in the city. There has been a nonstop stream of voters coming in, and undoubtedly will be until these polls close at 7:30 tonight. Lee, we're going to send it back to you in the studio. For now, Diane Larson reporting live from Reynolds Elementary.
Okay, Diane, continuing now our Vote 2010 team coverage. They are both elected officials, one an attorney, the other a financial advisor. And they both want to be the next Lucas County Commissioner. But can a new commissioner really make a difference on the board and in your daily life? Tonight, the race for a seat on the Board of County Commissioners in perspective.
This is One Government Center, the epicenter of Toledo and Lucas County government. The Board of County Commissioners preside on the 8th floor here. But we wanted to know how and what they do translate to your lives in the villages, townships, and the cities of Lucas County.
Well, there are a lot of services that the county provides.
We need to work with the outlying areas very carefully and help them meet their great challenges.
Sounds good, but what do those words really mean? The Board of County Commissioners set the budgets for entities you depend on, like the Sheriff's Department and 911. Have a dog? Or ever been a crime victim? There's the dog warden's office and the prosecutor's office. Think your home is undervalued? Take your complaint to the Lucas County Auditor. And it's the things you do or use every day.
The outlying areas depend on the county commissioners for water and sewer lines.
And think about the commissioners when buying that new car or big screen TV or anything else for that matter.
The commissioners are the ones that set the sales tax for Lucas County.
13 ABC political analyst and Conklin & Company contributor Sandy Eisenberg served on the Board of County Commissioners for nearly 2 decades. She says commissioners have taken a stronger role in recent years in economic development.
It translates to construction jobs. It translates to day-to-day jobs. It translates to moving merchandise through, making sales tax come through.
But can a new commissioner, either Republican George Sarantu or Democrat Carol Contrada, really make a difference? Exiting Commissioner Ben Connett, Eisenberg's nephew, has expressed frustration from day one.
If they don't just follow the leader, have a mind of their own, are firm in their convictions, I think that good things can happen.
Both candidates claim they're ready for the challenge.
Okay, so why vote in this election? Why cast a ballot for a Lucas County Commission candidate? Because they do have a say in so many things you do, many things you use every single day. Still to come on Action News at 5 tonight. Good news for Ohio State students. More and more of them are getting their diplomas. And some mystery continuing to surround that case of the triple homicide in Ottawa County. That and much more still ahead as we continue our team coverage of Vote 2010.
You're watching Diane Larson, Lee Conklin, and Stan Stachak. This is 13 ABC Action News in high definition.
In our health alert tonight, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and 13 ABC is taking a look at this deadly but often treatable cancer in a series of special reports. The American Cancer Society estimates that close to 50,000 Americans died last year from colon cancer, but doctors know they can improve those numbers. Tonight, the effort here in Ohio to get more people screened, why it's gone from the doctor's office to the State House. Here's 13 ABC's Susan Ross Wells.
Doctors know that this test, known as a colonoscopy, saves lives. It searches your colon for cancerous tumors and precancerous polyps that, if removed, never have a chance to become cancer. What's unfortunate is not everyone's insurance policy here in Ohio covers colonoscopy.
And ironically, we've had cases in our office where you can look and see that they've canceled their screening because it wasn't covered by their insurance, and later on they go on to develop colon cancer.
But coverage may soon be the law. Ohio House Bill 451 mandates at least some coverage of colorectal examination.
But I think the real question is that a worthwhile thing to do? And the scientific data proves really beyond a shadow of a doubt that colon cancer screening is good for people.
Dr. Michael Stark is on the division board for the American Cancer Society and a general surgeon here in Toledo. He acknowledges that insurance companies don't like mandates, but he believes this proposed law is in the best interest of public health.
There are several states and the District of Columbia that does have insurance mandates for colon cancer screening, and the colon cancer screening rates in those states and districts are a lot higher.
Maybe not all of my insurance company colleagues would agree, but I think from my standpoint, as a primary care physician, as also a medical director for an insurance company, it's the right thing to do for our membership.
Dr. John Meyer thinks this legislation is a good thing. He runs Paramount, where they do cover colonoscopy for their members. If you're not sure if you're covered under your plan, he says call to find out what your coverage entails. Talk with your human resources representative at work about your plan options, and maybe even change your plan to include coverage in the future.
Susan Ross Wells with that report. Doctors say that colonoscopy should start at age 50 for people at average risk, and it's recommended that African Americans start screening at age 45. And we have some other good resources for colon cancer information at our website, 13abc.com.